Hello, 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 everybody. How are you? Welcome to Create and Relate. I had a whole little spiel planned for y'all. Everybody. How are you? Welcome to Create and Relate. I keep forgetting to mute the TV. Hey, sis, how are you? Okay, so, all right. We are set up. Yes, I have notes. Y'all know your girl got notes. So, first of all, I think you noticed in the title. Thank you, sis. Thank you. I think you noticed in the title that we have kind of changed. We're shifting things around. We're still going to be here Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And it's going to be a little bit before I can record videos like I want to. We'll get into that in a second. Okay, so I want to know how you feel about this opening. I'm practicing it. So it says, Welcome to Create and Relate. I am Kitty Lane, and this is The Den, where curiosity, love, and positivity is always welcome in. Here we talk about crafting, mainly hooks and crochet, and sometimes we talk about life. So just know you're in a safe space. So, how does that sound? I'm thinking about that as an opening. I'm going to work on it a little bit because I want to get it memorized. And that'll be our opening for 2026. I know we're a month in, and that's fine. That's fine. Like I told you, we can always reset and restart anytime. With every breath, we can always reset. So we're shifting to Tuesdays being our setup days. That's why I named it Takeoff Tuesday. Thursdays from now on will be Thinkers Thursday. That's our kind of laid back day. We're still gonna do the questions on that day. I'm working on the questions for this week, um, and where we're just gonna have like a crochet session for about an hour or so, and then Saturdays is Show Off Saturday. So instead of Tuesdays where I show you everything that I've done and everything that I'm working on, we're gonna do that now on Saturdays. And then, like I said, on Tuesdays, we're going to talk about what we have planned for the week. Okay, I did not get a chance to go in and check the subscribers. First of all, hello, everybody. Once again, as you know, I am your baby boomer, Kitty Lane, from the peninsula in Virginia. And this, of course, is The Den. As I said, it is a safe space. So I did not get a chance to check my sub count before I came in. The last I checked was day before yesterday. We were at 473 communication during the crochet. Of course, there's going to be communication. It's live. You're going to be hearing me talk. Okay, and my viewing hours, again, check day before yesterday is at 1,745.1. I know that it has increased because my grandbabies and my baby look at least 2 videos a day. So, and that helps. It helps a lot. Okay, so now I have an idea, which I think goes in the welcoming category. We are approaching that 500, and I'm very excited about that. But once we get there, what do I want to do? What I want to do is create a blanket. I want this blanket to be 250 rows. So it's going to be really, really, really good. Well, if that helps, sis, that's fine. Um, you can fall asleep while I'm crocheting. That's good. Um, so like I said, this blanket, I want it to be 250 rows. It's gonna be big enough, of course, to cover at least a queen size bed. And I am going to, and this is between 500 and 1,000. So what's gonna happen is, for every 2 subscribers, I'm going to add a row to this blanket. As of right now, it will be colorful. That's the one thing I do know. It will be colorful. And there might be graphics in it, like a thank you with a big power star around it. I'm not sure yet. But those are 2 things that, or that's one thing I want to work on. And what do I want to do with it? Once we get to 1,000, once we get to 1,000 subscribers, I want to do a giveaway and I want to give that blanket to someone. So that's what we have to look forward to. But you all will be seeing the progress as we go along with it. So, like I said, for every 2 subscribers, I will be adding a row to the blanket. And it's going to be definitely enough to cover a queen size bed, possibly a king size topper. So it'll be very good if you want to keep it in the car for the family. If you just want to snuggle up and watch TV with it, it'll be family size. Throw it across the back of your couch. You know, however you want to use it, it will be up for a giveaway. Okay, now we approach the trick or treat section of our day, which is simply the announcements. And I already told you that the channel camera, the channel is setting up differently. As I said on Tuesdays, that is our setup day, what we're going to be doing throughout the week. Thursday is still questions. That would be good to watch grow as you, yes, that's the whole idea. That way everybody will get a chance to be in on it. Lori, how are you? So happy to see you. Okay, so like I said, Tuesdays is Take Off Tuesday, setting up for the week, and upcoming plans. Thursday is, I said Thinkers Thursday. I'm thinking about possibly To the Point Thursday, but it's going to be something with a T. But that's going to be like other channel updates, challenges, and the video start of the week introduction. Okay. And then we're going to have the show off or show out Saturdays. And that's where I will show you everything that I've done for that week. I have made an executive decision with my manager to take Sundays and Mondays off, for the simple reason, my health. And so that I can be here and be focused for you all on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And also, even though I'm off, those will be the days that I set aside to touch up whatever recorded videos that I have. I'm looking towards possibly starting next week, not this week, but putting out videos on Wednesdays and Fridays. And they will be like your squares or crochet with me or just simple videos. But Sundays and Mondays, and the reason I chose those days is because after I do my live on Saturdays is generally when I start the bulk of my crocheting. And I find myself staying up. I'm up on the weekends. On all day Sunday, I'm crocheting. And until time for me to pick up the kids on Monday, I'm crocheting. I get back to it a little bit on Mondays after I get them, but that'll be like my little breather space. And then Tuesday, I'll be fresh, and that's where we'll be. Okay. Trekking into February, our next announcement. Balance is key. Balance is key. Yes, it is. And it's amazing that, I started last year trying to set the pace for this year. And this is where, when I say you can reset with every breath, I was trying different techniques and trying different things and trying to maneuver the channel around my health, around my grandkids, around, important things I had to do. And I do well. I do well with habits and routines, but I don't do well with schedules. I don't know if that makes sense. When I schedule something, just the idea of having to stick to that makes it seem out of whack for me. But if I notice a pattern that I'm going through that works for me, to enhance that pattern or to manipulate that pattern however I need to, works better for me. Okay. All right. So, trekking into February. My plan for February, that 100% makes it yes. And even if I didn't disclose the fact that I have ADHD, everything that I do kind of shows it. And it's also amazing to me how people with ADHD can identify with each other without words being said. You can generally watch a person's mannerisms and kind of pick up on it. Whether they've been diagnosed or not, you just kind of know. It's like they say, birds of a feather flock together. Okay, trekking into February. My plan for February is to use as much red as possible. Last week, before I got sick, and we're going to get back to that, I took the time to fix my yarn shelf, and I realized, Kitty, you got a lot of red and variations of red. So my plan is to use as much red as possible for the month of February. So you're going to see red in just about everything that I do. February squares should be released on Wednesday, February 4th, and Friday, February 6th. So next Wednesday and next Friday will be when you get your squares for the month of February. Okay. The 12-inch square will be presented the following week. So after the 6th is when I'll be showing you the 12-inch square. I did not get to the 12-inch square for January because I'm only asking that you do a 12-inch square. If you want to do just a basic 12-inch granny square, whatever square you decide to do for January, being that it's our first month kickoff, I'm letting you decide what you want to do. Still got a few days left. And we're talking about one square, just one square. That's it. Put it aside. If you have your color scheme for whatever that blanket's going to be, put everything with it, and that's aside until February. And we'll do the same thing. We'll do the same thing throughout the year. You add that one, so forth and so on. Okay, my plan is to have a Valentine's gift for you. So I haven't decided. I have 3 choices down here, and I may put them in a poll in the community post and let you all decide what it is. But I'm going to make something, and it's going to go out to someone as a gift. And that'll be my Valentine's Day gift to you. Okay, thoughts and ticker. My mood for the day is probably about an 8. If you hear these pings, I am so sorry. We got a little family group chat going on, and it all started with a picture. I'm going to post that picture in the community post so you can see my mother and her girls. And she always said, these are my girls. And it's simply me and my 2 daughters. And she was always so happy and proud to be around her girls. And all she ever talked about when she was around us, I wish my son could be here. I wish my boy could be here. It would be perfect if my son was here. And her son was my son. Yes, she always called him her son. Sometimes I had to say, "You do realize that I birthed that child. I birthed that man child." And she would say, I guess she was marking her place as matriarch of the family. Wow. Every time I say that and I realize that I am now the matriarch of my little family, that's a huge responsibility, y'all. Whoa. And it catches me like that every time I say it. Okay. So mood is about an 8. Health, guys, complete transparency. My health right now is about at a 6. I suffer from gout. It started it started last Wednesday. I thought it was just pain in my foot early Thursday. By Thursday evening, I realized that it was gout. And it was in my right foot. And then it moved its way to where it was in my right foot and my lower back. First time I have ever experienced gout in my back. Talk about a sister sleeping. I completely understand what sleep is. I have slept so much, y'all, since Thursday. I really have. Um, and then it went from the back to the thumb to the finger in here. There's still a little swelling in here. And yes, I'm a right hand crocheter. And still, I got some things to show y'all. I did not let it stop me from crocheting because I have been basically confined to my bed. Um, when I get up, I have to have a lot of assistance to get back and forth to anywhere. And now it is in still my foot. That's still beginning point, but it's in my foot and my knee on the right side. My doctor sent in a prescription yesterday for colchicine, I believe it is. Col, col, colchicine. Anyway, it's a gout medication. And for some reason, with their system not being upgraded, um, it didn't go through. But she did it again today. The pharmacy has already notified me that the meds are ready, and my daughter has gone to pick it up for me. So I'll be able to get the medication in my system. Y'all know I'm not thrilled about medication, but I really am not thrilled about the lack of mobility. As far as the weight is concerned, sorry, we still have ice that's falling from the building. So every time we leave, we have to be careful. Um, that distracted me. Okay. The weight is still on the decline. Um, during the period that I was waiting for surgery on my toe, what generally happens with anybody who quits smoking, the weight goes up. Well, the weight has started going up a little bit before that. And in that 2 month period, I had gained a significant amount of weight. And I was not happy. I was not happy at all. Who can never pronounce? You do know this when they went to school. You're exactly right. But you have to remember, I was in the medical field. So, yeah, yeah. That's why some of them I can pronounce, especially when I talk about my condition, HOCM, which is hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. Yeah. Say that real fast with a drop of water on your tongue. It ain't gonna happen. Okay, so to give the overall, okay, we're talking about the weight. Okay, the weight got back up to over 340. I am back down in the 320s. Um, have I resumed smoking? Yes. Sorry, but yes, I have. How is my toe doing? My toe is perfect. My toe is great. I think it feels better than it did before. I thought I had an ingrown toenail. It's doing really, really good. So we don't have a problem with the left foot. Left foot is fine. The doctor fixed that. We just got to fix the gout in the right foot. Okay, so what happened while I was out? Well, let's see. So we know that I had 5 squares for the January Square Challenge. Y'all, we now have we now have 48. I know you see that big gaping hole in the middle. That's for the 49th square. And as you can see by the red, I have started putting them together. So yeah, we have 48 of the 49 squares. And we're going to finish putting that together today. Um, I'm really excited about that. I think one of the reasons I challenged myself, especially with these squares, is because I have such an aversion for squares. They pluck everything in me. I don't mind making the squares, it's the putting them together that bothers me. But I used 196 stitch markers to put this blanket together so that I could see the vision of it before putting it together. And that process, as tedious as it sounds, was so relaxing and calming for me to sit here and to put it together so that it made something beautiful from each one of those squares. And there's another project that I want to try, but I'm going to give myself time for that one. But it's going to be a significantly large blanket, and it's going to involve a lot of little bitty squares. But I think for that one, I'm going to stick basically with the granny square, and I'm going to use the connect as you go method because I'm talking like well over 100 squares, but they're going to be small and they're going to be deliberate. The color choices are going to be deliberate. It is going to involve purple and it is going to involve pink. And there are 2 other colors that I want to throw in there. I'm not giving it all away now, but they're going to be four round squares, not round as a circle, but you know. Okay, now for the thermal squares, I only added 1 square to these so far. I did make this square smaller because I want to border it like I bordered these. I want to border it larger. And you can see that it is smaller. Um, so yes, I'm gonna do pink and purple together in 2 other colors. Yes. But I have a deliberate plan in mind for that. And can you all excuse me for one moment? Got something going on in the house. Sorry about that. I had to be grandma. I am so sorry about that. That was an urgent moment. Okay. Like I said, this is smaller because I want to make the border around it larger. And this more than likely will be my center square. I have not decided how many of these I'm going to have yet. I don't even know if these are going to be considered as one of the month's squares that we do. It might, I don't know. But my goal, my ultimate goal is to get rid of a lot of these yarn scraps that I have. And these are ways of doing it. These, oh my goodness. Yo, when I see the progress that I've made, it inspires me to keep going. So those are two things that you know that I've worked on. The carpenter's wheel, I think I showed you. My progress on the carpenter's wheel. I know it's on the agenda to get attention today. So we've got a total of 14 of these. We've got a total of 14. Today, I'm hoping to finish the yellow and red out, and I'll be moving on to the yellow and blue. And then from there, I think I have 12 all red to do, which will be great. That'll help me reduce some of that red. Y'all, when I tell y'all I got a lot of red, I got a lot of red. I don't know what I was thinking when I was purchasing. I think I thought red went with everything, but I got a lot of red. Okay, the Stitcher hood. The Stitcher hood blanket, I've determined is going to be the corner to corner. It's lightweight, even though I am using 4 worsted weight. I am using a K. I'm using a 6.5 for this. So it makes it real light and airy. And being that these are going to, or this is going to Dallas, Texas, I didn't want anything that was going to be real thick and heavy. As of right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only have 6 squares, but these don't take long to make it all. I'm only going 3, 6, 9. I'm only going 12 out. That means 12 across before I start my decrease. So that's what I'm doing for the Stitcher hood blanket. The other blanket that I started, they had that real pretty motif in the middle. I thought I had, oh, here it is. I've not gotten any further on it. I'm kind of looking at colors right now because, of course, the further you go out, the less a skein of yarn lasts. So I'm looking into my balls from Dollar Tree right now. And I think that's what I'm going to be working on along with getting my scraps down to complete that. It's, I think if I remember correctly, it's at 34 inches right now. And I want to get it out to at least 50 inches. So I don't have that much further to go. And then the salsa blanket. I have not started going backwards on it yet, but it is still in the process of being worked on. It's still there. I have not abandoned it. Okay. There was something else that I worked. Oh, that I did not show. My half double squares. Every time I get a little ball, like when I get it down to maybe this size or a little bit larger, I know it's not enough to make a thermal square or a C2C square. So my half double squares, I'll make little panels for that. And this ultimately is going to be the size of it. I'm not mistaken, excuse me, it's 9 inches. And all I do is the half double crochet in the middle from, I think it's 15 stitches across and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 rows up. And I border that with 2 rounds of double crochet. And then I border the outside with a round of half double crochet. And yeah, so that's in the works as well. It's constantly being added to. And I think there was one more, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. But oh yeah. So I actually have 2 of these. I cannot find the other right now. I'm using the itty bitty ones. So I'd like to introduce you all to Henrietta Headington. Yes, I was a Bridgerton fan when I had Netflix. I no longer have it. So this is Henrietta Headington. And I still love making hats. So she and her sister will be my hat models. I just started last night on another hat. This one has been requested. I was not given a colorway. So knowing that this person likes colors, this is the start of it. This took probably about, this took about 30 minutes. I had turned on the show. That's how I crochet, y'all. I turn on the show and I crochet as much as I can for that show. So this is what I came up with last night. So far, this is going to be a cat hat. I make my cat hats starting from the bottom up. I make my bottom round and connect it, and then I go in the rounds. This one I'm doing 2 rounds forward, 2 rounds backwards, and I'm using all half double crochet. So I do 2 rounds to the outside, flip it, do 2 rounds on the inside, flip it, 2 rounds on the outside. So basically, you get the same look on both sides. This one, you won't be able to so much because I am running the color up the seam. But for future ones, it's an idea. And I like doing that because my seam stays pretty straight. Most of the time you see it where it's going diagonal. My seam stays pretty straight, flipping it back and forth. And like I told you, this is how I come up with the squares for the thermal and the corner to corner. I had this much left in this ball, plus this. So I was like, that'll make a good thermal square. Why do I call it thermal? Because I'm using my thermal half double crochet. Okay. Now, this is going to happen. Y'all, it's Tuesday. What happens tonight? At 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Pacific, I think. Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday is tonight. I think I did put that in the notes below. And of course, I put Juan's channel there so that you can catch it. If you have not subscribed to his channel, please consider doing so. And please, no, not Ghost Brothers. That's the other blanket, yes. But y'all, Joan, I'm so happy you said that. Okay, so I'm a big paranormal buff. Because of experiences I've had, that type of thing. Not from the dark side. I don't get into rituals and stuff like that. That's not me. But I can't negate what I see. I can't put a blind eye to things that happen around us. Um, so there was a team of paranormal investigators that I started watching several years back, the Ghost Brothers. And I enjoyed them so much because you could tell when you watch their show that these guys were new. They were new to the scene. They were new to investigating. So I felt like what they encountered was more real than a lot of the ones that I had seen. And if you want to know my favorite show ever, and I'm rewatching the series now, is Supernatural. Dean and Sam Winchester. Oh my goodness. But at any rate, I enjoyed seeing fresh eyes investigating. It gave the whole thing a new take for me. I was like, wow. And then to find out later on that Dalen, one of the Ghost Brothers, had his own YouTube channel. So I started watching that, and he did this little series of horror stories, but they were all animated, and he just narrated through them. But they were like really cute, exciting, interesting, enthralling, captivating, all of that. So then he went into a different session called The Graveyard Shift and Ghosted or Roasted. Ghosted or Roasted is where he posts clips, and you have a choice. You either ghost it because you think it's paranormal, or you roast it because you think it's not. He added a new category called Toasted, which is if you're really not sure or it's teetering. Graveyard Shift, he uses a spirit box, and he goes to resting communities and has conversations. I see images, I see full apparitions, and they fascinate me, but I can't hear them. And often I attributed it to the fact that I'm hard of hearing. That's not necessarily the case because my daughter has the same gift, and she sees and not hears. She hears the things that they do. We have things like drawers opening in our kitchen, doors opening, especially to the storage room and my bathroom. Um, my bedroom door sometimes will open or close. Sometimes if you leave it half open, it'll close on its own. But when you leave it all the way open, it does not close unless a person closes it, or an entity, which is the case here. Nothing malicious, nothing to hurt us. One day my daughter, excuse me, one day my daughter was on her way up to the job. A person that she doesn't necessarily get along with that well was working that day. And my daughter could not find her keys. She was like, Mom, I brought them in. I laid them right here on the counter. I know I did. But all I want to do is go up here and do these videos, and I'll be back home. And it bothered her so much that she could not find her keys that she chose to stay. Well, it ended up this individual that was at the job already, got into an argument with a friend of my daughter's. It got pretty heated. The police had to be called, but it was a situation where my daughter didn't need to be there. And about 15 minutes later, my daughter goes back to the counter, and right where she said she had left her keys were there. I can attest to that because I helped her look for her keys. Her keys were not on that counter. They were not on that counter. We went through clothes to make sure she hadn't left them in pockets. We went in her room to make sure she wasn't sleepy and took them in her room. We looked in the refrigerator, in drawers, across the floor, in furniture. Sorry about that. My throat keeps getting dry. I even came to the conclusion that when my 6.5 hook went on vacation, and I always think that it's either my grandmother, my grandfather, my mother, or my son. Like they took it. they took it. And I would believe my mom more than anything because my mom was always like, you need to take a break. You've been crocheting all day. You need to take a break. So that fits more along. Well, anyway, I had emailed Dalen for what they call a PTO session. And that was to meet at a resting place and have a spirit box session. I also indicated that I was handicapped and that I did not have, the only mode of transportation I had was my scooter. So Dalen came up with the idea of doing a remote session. We would have a session via Zoom. I got confirmation, y'all. I got confirmation Friday that I am in line for a Zoom session. I am super duper excited. So the blanket is not complete. Like I said, I have, I think, 8 more rows to add to it. And what I really want to do is be working on that blanket when we have the Zoom session so that he can see that this is my gift to you all, but he can also see that I am actively working on it and that it's not something that I just purchased or have someone else to make. So that's where the Ghost Brothers blanket is right now. Lori, you know yourself. You and I have stories. We got the story, and it's just life. It's just life. It's things that happen in our lives. Okay. The other thing that is going on, grandson is needed, but I'm about to. Okay. When are you? Yes. Yes. And I'm super excited about that too. So I failed to mention what I was sipping on today, guys. I am only sipping on water because I'm not able to get back and forth to the kitchen right now. Um, and my grandkids can bring me water. They can bring me water. They can bring me Kool-Aid. Yeah, I need some more ice. But I love this cup. It keeps it's called a Miyoki. I don't know if you can see that or not. But it's Meoky. More than likely, it came from Amazon, Temu, or Skane. Shine. That one. Okay, but I know that my oldest daughter got it, and these are the types of insulated things that she gets. That's great to hear about good things happening. Yes. Um, so I'm just drinking water for right now. I had a little bit of a breakfast. Um, I'm not taking my medication yet because I'm waiting for Jennifer to get back with the other meds so I can take them all together. As long as I take them before 4 o'clock, I'm good. With it being a fluid pill and me having to go to the bathroom so much. So, the last thing on the list of things that are going to happen, I'm sure you all remember my chenille Dallas Cowboy blanket. I'm going to frog it. Go ahead. Give it to me. Give it to me. I know. I feel it. I hear it because Joan already gave it to me. She knew about it. I'm going to frog it, guys, because one of the things I wanted to do for myself this year was make myself a house robe. It's the perfect material. It's the perfect color. So I want to turn it into a house robe for me. The blanket itself, the bigger it gets, the heavier it gets. It's something that I would never sleep under. Um, because it's so thick and heavy. but I can wrap myself up in it. If it, when it gets cold, or if I want to open the door or step outside, or even if I don't feel like putting anything majorly on when I go to the store, it's going to be big enough that people will think it's a coat, and it'll be a house robe, and it'll be beautiful. And I can sit up here in my bed with my house robe on and crochet all I want to. Absolutely. So that is my plans for that. So like I said, the little squares blanket, I'm hoping to get started on that. I'm getting things off the plate. One thing I do want to mention to you all, please, 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 if you haven't, you always have time, but please, if you have not considered it, consider it. If you consider it, go through with it. If you're going through with it, stick to it. And that is a journal. Please, guys. I am still fighting with the insurance company. My doctor encouraged me to add gout to my disabilities because as of right now, we're looking for either a rollator or a wheelchair for me. And that's just so I can get around the apartment, not to stay in or anything. But, excuse me, like those days that I want to go check on the mail, I don't have to get on my scooter and go over there. I can either go by way of wheelchair or rollator, or if I want to run to the rental office, or even if I wanted to take that trip to Walmart, it's right next door. And then I don't have to use you get the idea. So, this journal has helped me in keeping up with my conversations with the insurance company, with disability. It's helped me to reach out to more people than I normally would. A rollator is a walker with wheels. It's got the four wheels where the legs of the walkers would be, two in front and two in back. But it can also open out into a seat. So if you get tired or you need to just stop for a moment, you can stop and sit in that seat. That seat also serves as a little storage area. You can put little things in it. So like if I wanted to run over to the store and get snacks for the kids for the day, like they love the corn dogs over there. And I love their little chicken egg rolls. See if I wanted to go get those, or the burritos, something quick and light, a loaf of bread and some bologna, whatever, then it would be enough that I could put them in that storage seat. So yeah. That's a rollator, or like I said, the wheelchair. The wheelchair, if we do that, what I would hope to do is get a motorized one. I would, of course, not use the motor in the house, but I don't know. We'll figure. My doctor and I are talking about it, but this journal has helped so much. It's not bits of paper here and bits of paper there, and I'm able to go back to these specific days and give them dates and times and who I talked to, and not have to hunt for this notebook. You can have as many journals as you think you need right now. In order to obtain consistency, I'm using this one. I'm using this one for everything except crochet in my life, because I want to discipline myself to make sure I put something in it every day. My next goal is to branch out and get one for life and one for medical. My sister had one of those when she was adapting to a prosthetic foot after. Yes, my mother had one, and when she transitioned, we didn't look ahead. We did not plan ahead. My mama had walkers, she had a rollator, She had the foot exercise, the little bicycle without it being a bicycle. It was just for the feet. She had all of those things. She had the porta potty. She had everything that would be helpful if I would have done that. Oh my God, yes, yes. A migraine journal helped me. Exactly, exactly. Some people use like food journals, workout journals, um, journals for their job. Um, for those of us mothers and grandmothers, and even the fathers and grandfathers that stay at home with the kids, you can use them for them, their sleep schedule, their feeding schedule, those types of things. I throw the word schedule out there loosely because I don't follow schedules too well. Oh my goodness, I follow patterns. But yeah, the journals I find are pretty much life saving. They really are. It doesn't, with everything that we have going on today, it's with us getting up in age, to have this point that we can go back to instead of forcing ourselves to remember, oh my God, when was the first time I had a migraine? Let me see. I think it was. I mean, you think about it. Right now, I'm dealing with gout. I'm dealing with a heart condition. I'm dealing with losing my voice when I talk more than 5 minutes. My mobility being down, swelling. All the issues that I'm dealing with health wise. And then I have two young grandchildren here with me, um, keeping my daughter's spirits up with what we're going through right now. In case you haven't heard, we're facing eviction. We have to go to court February 5th. But everything that we've got going on, if I would just sit back and say, when was the first time I had a migraine? It's no, that's not dementia or Alzheimer's. That's, I got life going on right now. I can't remember that. But if I had a journal, I could go back and tell you what I actually did back then, that they started in April of 1997. I didn't know what it was. I really, I thought I was having a stroke. I thought I was expiring. I really did. And it didn't come on all of a sudden. It worked its way up. It started as a really uncomfortable headache. You don't follow patterns. You make up, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Life and medical problems impact our memory too. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But it just so happened I was writing a lot of my poetry back then. And I happened to put it in a poem. Yeah. That the way that migraine hit Lori and just feeling like it might have been a stroke, I can imagine actually having a stroke being terrifying. Because I know that I was, oh my God, I was scared. I was afraid, going through that. But like I said, when it hit, it was like I woke up with a really bad headache. And when I got out of bed, it felt like I could hear my footsteps in my head. Everything around me, I was hypersensitive to normal noises. I couldn't hear any better. It's just they felt like they were pounding on my brain. And when I went to the bathroom, my eyes were bloodshot. And I took a kind of cool bath. I thought maybe I had an internal temperature or something. I was trying to bring the temperature down. When I got out of the tub, my eyes were still red. I had this ringing in my ears. My sister was making coffee, and the smell of the coffee made me so nauseated, made me dizzy. I wanted to cry. I went in my room and got back in the bed, stayed there for a few hours, took a nap, thinking maybe I'll feel better when I get up. Guys, when I opened my eyes again, it was like right afternoon, and the sun was so bright with the, with the blinds closed and the curtains drawn. I felt like I was looking directly into the sun, and my head was pounding. My head was saying things to me I had never heard before in my life. It made my neck hurt, my shoulders, my arms. It made everything hurt. Oh, I do relate to the sound of things and the eyes and the yes. Yes. If you ever have to describe to someone what a migraine feels like, it's like a train wreck going on in your head. Literal train wreck. It's without the impact, but noise triggers account or make up for the impact. To take a step feels like a giant stomping on a village. That's what it sounds like in your head. It's like this boom, boom. So every time you get a pulse, your head is pulsating. You get dizzy, you can't see, certain smells just make you sick. You can't get comfortable. You don't want anybody to talk to you. You don't want anybody to touch you. There is no such thing as something soothing. For sometimes putting a cold rag on your head, on your neck, I find for me at the soft spot in my head, putting an ice pack there will calm it. Oh, but the best thing for me is sleep. I've been on the Ematrix, Compazine, um, I think they call it Topramate or Topramat or whatever they call it. Yes, yes, it does. And like I said, over my life, I can count the number of times I have thrown up. So when I throw up, it's a problem. It's a problem. Yeah, the migraines are nothing but having a journal, and then it was a poetry journal, but realizing that I was able to go back to that poem and pull up exactly when this started, it helped so much. When they found those two nodes at the back of my brain, they still have not determined, and it's been years, whether that's the source or exactly why they said that was MS or if that's the reason behind the seizures. They haven't determined yet. But the nodes themselves have not gotten any larger. They first discovered them when I was 18, right after I had my daughter Nikki. That was when I was having blackouts while I was pregnant, y'all. I was functioning like normal. I'd go through, it's like if it was in my head before the blackout happened, I would actually go through and do it, but I wouldn't remember it. The scariest part was being 8 months pregnant, driving to Big Star, which was the grocery store. I picked up spaghetti noodles, ground beef, steak, tomatoes, onions, spaghetti sauce. There were 10 items that I picked up. Went to the register and paid for them. Drove back home, 8 months pregnant. And when I came back home, when I was on the porch, it was like when I came back. And I could not, I remembered driving to the store. I don't remember going in the store. I don't remember picking any of this stuff up, paying for it, but I had to because I had the receipt. Everything was in the bag. I had the receipt. I don't remember any of that. To this day, to this day, I don't remember any of that. That was 40 years ago. I don't remember. I don't remember. But they found the notes then, and they said that it shouldn't be an issue, it shouldn't be a problem. But all in all, back to the journal. These journals are life-saving. So like I said, if you considered it, do it. If you haven't considered it, consider it. If you considered it, do it. If you're doing it, continue to do it. They're life saving. They are life saving. Y'all, I'm going to let y'all go. We have reached our hour. I'm giving you all this love that I have. I want you all to remember that above anything, love yourselves, because you can't love others the way they deserve to be loved unless you first loved yourself. Remember, Kitty Lane told you. Remember, Kitty Lane loves you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody. Love ya.